So I will start with what is nutrition. So when we think of nutrition, we often think of the food that goes into our body. So thinking of food as the physical food that goes into our body that we digest and that we process and we create nutrients in our body to be able to sustain life. There's more to it than that. So true nutrition is what we take in through our senses. So whether it be touch, taste, smell, hearing, and then sight. So we want to think of it as a whole round approach. So Ayurveda looks at the whole approach versus just one aspect of it. So the stuff that we take in through our senses is our nutrition. So if we understimulate any of our senses, then we can cause imbalance in our body. We can cause imbalance in our mind and our emotions. And it leads to dis-ease or disease once it manifests a little bit further. So once we hit dis-ease, it means we're out of balance. We feel that things are a little off. And I'm sure we're all feeling that now after a couple of years of a very different lifestyle. So this very different lifestyle has created a definite shift and more screen time. Right now I have 3 screens on me. It's because I'm videoing for various options for YouTube and then other social media. And so with that, I am using my sense of sight more. And I've noticed because I did not have these last year. So that is something new because I'm looking at screens that are in certain distances for prolonged periods of time. And I can do exercises and I'm working on it to be able to exercise my eyes, but at the same time, I also know that I have to have on days where I maybe do more computer work and then off days where I'm not on screens at all, if at all possible. So that's a nice thing about some of the technology is I can schedule things to go on when I want them to go on. All right, so talking about the senses. So when we're talking about nutrition, we want to feed our body in order to have a long, healthy, vibrant life, right? That's definitely our goal is to have that vibrant life. And when we look at our life and we look at what do we do more of, like what activities do we do more of? And we can do this in every part of our life, meaning if we over exercise, we're gonna wear out our joints, not our body. If we under exercise, we're not going to have a healthy life either. Same thing goes with our senses. So when we overuse touch, when we're overstimulated constantly, that's going to create a sensory overload. If we have undertouch, so definitely if you're single like me or live in a house by yourself, or you are you no longer have kids that live in the house and maybe don't have a partner, it's completely different because there was a lot of hugging that happened before the last couple of years, and that has definitely changed. Although there is more interaction now than there was last year. But the sense of touch was underused. And a lot of us felt that. A lot of us felt that change. Even if we're more introverted, we still have that closeness with people that we're close to. And we still have that social life that touch is a huge part of. And so under and over with touch, taste. So taste, using our senses properly in taste. So in Ayurveda, we look at the food in different categories, and I'll go through this in a couple of weeks in more detail, but we look at the different tastes: sweet, sour, salty, stringent, pungent, bitter. So those are the 6 tastes in Ayurveda. As long as you get all of the tastes, then you should have balanced nutrition. We don't look at nutrition quite the same as Western medicine does. We look at nutrients. We look at, if you get all the tastes, you're probably getting all the nutrients. But that means that it might be a little bit different from time to time. Different seasons offer different blends of tastes that help balance us out for that season. And I'll go over that in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about taste and how that plays a part and the constitutions that go along with that. The next would be to make sure that you're not overstimulating your taste. So meaning you're taking in too many of the wrong tastes. And in this country, we definitely do too much of the Mick diet. So sweet, sour, salty, and that's year round. And that's going to throw our bodies out of balance, whether it causes weight gain, because that's what those senses actually do, is help us to gain weight, to put on weight for the winter, to be able to protect our bodies. So we want to look at what we're eating and making sure that there is a balanced nutrition in there. So not over, not under. So making sure we get the right nutrients at the right time of year. And I'll go over that in a couple of weeks. Smell would be the next one. So I think that smell is really underrated. Unless you had COVID and lost your sense of taste and smell, then you learn to appreciate the fact that you can actually smell things. Sometimes it's nice not to have to smell things. Like I have chickens and I have a dog, and they have smelly things. And so it's kind of funny when you lose that sense of smell, how much you appreciate it when it does come back, when you're like, oh my gosh, I can really smell my cooking. I can really smell what's going on outside, the freshness of the rain. I went for a walk in the rain today, and it was so lovely smelling rain. And we haven't had a whole lot of it this year. So it was really nice to have a little bit of a thunderstorm in the middle of the day versus at night when you can't fully enjoy it. But using our sense of smell under and overusing our sense of smell. Hearing would be another thing. So listening to too much intensity. So really intense music, really intense news, that kind of thing can be overstimulating for our ears. Having headphones in, I've changed a lot. I used to, last year I was wearing headphones all the time to get more and more information into my brain. And it's a great idea because I'm learning information and going for a walk at the same time, but I also found that it was overstimulating my ears. It was making my ears ring, or it was making me feel just overstimulated as far as my senses go. Or it can be understimulation, where you're not listening very well. So you're not really hearing what people are saying. You're not truly being present for people. So it'd be misusing your sense of hearing. And then sight. So I did talk about sight earlier. Last year I didn't have these. I have these this year because of the amount of screen time that I have. So looking at a screen and looking at screens that are fairly close. So cell phones are pretty close. Computers are, I've learned to put my computer a little further away, but I have an external keyboard, which has helped significantly along with my posture. And then, overstimulating by watching too much screen time, and especially at certain times. So over the next few weeks, we'll discuss that and how that plays a part in sleep and all of that. So we'll go more into detail of these senses, but they'll break up into different areas. But senses and nutrition. So think of nutrition as the well-rounded aspect of how your senses play a part in your vitality. So have a great evening. Thank you.